Hi there, Mark Vergeer here with another real hardware video. Of course, I'm emulating, but I'm also using old systems, old computers, running retro PC, and this is my Windows XP laptop, which is a bit more capable of running Windows XP than my Pentium III that I've been showing some footage of. Yeah, let me go over the laptop. I'll show you some gameplay benchmarks and stuff, and yeah, just checking out how this all works. And it's a very decent little laptop. Let's go check out the video. Okay, this is my old laptop, and it turned out to be quite the retro gaming PC. So this is a Pentium M 1500 megahertz, and it has 2 gigabytes of RAM, and it runs Windows, and it's the ultimate Halo machine. This is actually the only machine in my house that will actually run Windows Halo natively, and I figured I'd do one of these benchmarks that I've done on these emulated machines. 3D Mark 2000, and on the background my big machine. This is actually very nice backdrop, Lego cars, Back to the Future, you know, kind of a nice theme here. So let's run the default benchmark, and I'll just film it with my phone, and I'll just go through it. And I believe the screen is actually captured quite nicely. Yeah, it turns out that the laptop that I got in the early 2000s, mainly for doing PowerPoint presentations, and it was like yeah, a good deal actually at a local computer store. It turned out to be quite a nice gaming Windows XP gaming laptop, and I'm actually curious whether or not I would be able to run MS-DOS and Windows 98 on it. I replaced the, oh, and this actually is a repurchase. I got this system from Italy, so the keyboard is a bit different from the English keyboard. Luckily, it's a QWERTY keyboard, but there's like, Dell is like Cancelero or something like that, and Fine. So there's actually a few Invio enter. So yeah, but the frame rate on these clips is actually a lot higher than the clips on my Pentium III machine. So I'm actually very curious how this will end score-wise, perhaps with the blown-up laptop. But it has a Radeon Mobility 9700, 79, no, 9700, yeah, 9700, and Centrino. Oh, look at this. So 200 and almost 300 frames per second. It doesn't break a sweat. It really is quite superior to the Pentium III machine I had, which I consider to be, you know, a retro gaming machine, very well suited to Windows 98 games. It has a Voodoo 3. But I believe this Radeon is actually quite, a Radeon 9700 Mobility is actually quite more suited to running the Windows games. Perhaps I should have turned on VSync, I'm not sure, but yeah, let's just check how it goes. Oh, and for the people who are very, you know, very apt, they will see that I have a mouse, a Raspberry Pi mouse. hooked up to the machine. The only thing that actually is wrong with the machine is that the built-in Wi-Fi, you turn it on with this switch, that no matter how you turn on the switch, the internal Wi-Fi is just not turning on. But it's not really a big deal because you don't want to go online with one of these old machines anyways. I do have a little dongle that I can go on Wi-Fi. I use this to actually access the network drive to actually import some software on it. Oh look, this is the this is actually going a lot faster than the Pentium III. My Pentium III runs at 550, and I actually always thought that the Pentium M was very similar to a Pentium III, but it may actually be quite similar to a Pentium IV. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. It's been too long. This does have wired LAN as well, so it has a UTP plug, so you can actually hook up. And I believe it's like one of these RPC real tech network adapters, really very common. And yeah, could you perhaps class this as one of one of these hidden gaming PCs? This actually is the only piece of Acer hardware for me that has lasted as long as it has, because most of my Acer machines have gone, they've gone pushing up roses. I've had a desktop that just stopped working. Perhaps this will too, but stopped working within like 8 months or so. I had a little AMD Phenom desktop mini PC that stopped working within a year. This one actually, the original actually sits in my mom's place. She still uses it to play some old card games. There's some Dutch card games that have old-fashioned games, old-fashioned applications that just won't run on her Mac. So she has this old laptop, and she boots it up every once in a while. And it's not hooked up over online or anything, but yeah, it seems to be a pretty decent gaming laptop still. And my mom still works too, so I guess these Acer laptops are, in a way, quite dependable. So I've replaced the mechanical hard drive for an SSD with one of these 40-pin plug adapter thingies. So it has the parallel ETA interface. Well, this went rather quickly. I'm very curious after the end result. 3D marks. Oh, 9,085. I believe my real Pentium III scored something like 2,700. So this actually is a lot faster than my real Pentium III. So it has a Radeon Mobility 9700. Let me see, system info. The processor, it's Intel unknown. Well, it's an Intel M. I guess it's a bit beyond the scope of this program, probably a bit too new. So let's run the 3D Mark 201 SE, because that's slightly more advanced. Not sure if it actually, it does run. So system info, perhaps it'll recognize the system more easily. CPU info, Intel unknown, still Intel unknown. So probably this is also a bit too old. But the software, I think if we do benchmark, it'll just do the benchmark. 6 minutes. I'll tag that on. It's just me waffling, and yeah. So I've been emulating. I've been very impressed by PCEm, and I've done some calculations, and I put a little note in the community section of this YouTube channel. But yeah, I think PCEm per clock it actually is very similar in performance to the real hardware, but it has so much overhead. It takes so much overhead that yeah, you really need a beefy hardware to a beefy CPU to emulate anything above 233 at 100% speed. So yeah, doing it the real thing, doing it with real hardware at a 4:3 aspect ratio is the way to go. And this little laptop, it has three. It has three USB ports. You can hook up a keyboard and mouse, and you can or a gamepad, and you can just have your gaming on this laptop. And the screen, it has a very nice refresh rate. This is what is it, a 15-inch XGA TFT LCD, and it really is, it has no ghosting. It's a really nice screen. And I think this model that I got is actually one up to the one that my mom still has, because I think my screen wasn't the good one. Perhaps that was the LCD screen or something like that. But this has actually a very nice screen. And this room, I mean, it's quite well lit. Oh, and I've changed around my room a bit. I'll do a proper tour perhaps, but yeah, and this is a freebie. I got this from my father-in-law. It's a studio quality CD player, and it actually is much better than the Pioneer one I had. So yeah. Anyways, back to 3D Mark. 4 of 21. Oh, look at that. The benchmark, the Matrix style benchmark actually runs pretty well. 118, 96, 140. So basically, games from 2001 will actually run pretty decent on this laptop. And if nicely programmed, perhaps a few older games as well. MS-DOS will just not run in a DOS box, or yeah, DOS box. Perhaps I could try DOS box on this, but that actually sort of defeats the purpose, because you just want to have it run natively. I don't think that the sound card is one of these AC97 sound cards, I think. So you won't have any sound in MS-DOS, probably. So there's no Sound Blaster emulation or anything, which is a shame, because otherwise this would have been a great MS-DOS gaming machine. But that's where my Pentium III comes in. I'll just have that ready for my MS-DOS Windows 98 gaming, or use the emulator. Oh, look at that. Yeah. I remember running this on my desktop system, and I think when I had this, I had a Pentium 4. So my Pentium 4 probably was faster than this one. But yeah, this really looks amazing. Of course, this is just nothing compared to today. You can actually tell that the mountains behind it are just a flat bitmap, and just the stream and the rocks and the house and the trees are just 3D graphics. Or perhaps no, there was I think there were polygons used for the mountain as well. So yeah, of course not the not the best score when you go into the higher marks, but actually quite interesting to see how this turns out. It's funny, because if you run this on a Voodoo 3 card, you just won't see these game clips that you saw just now, and the mountain clip. It's just not there, I believe. So well, this is actually quite funny. This machine would actually be very good, very well suited to watch some of these earlier Windows demos. You have a lot of the demo groups. They started out in the Commodore 64. They made MS. Yes, I'm recording a video.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I should have had my sign on, but yeah. Anyways, now and I'm actually quite curious what my wife wanted to ask me, of course. But it possibly can wait 2 more minutes for this benchmark to clear, and perhaps I'll do a cut. Oh wow, that's a creepy looking little bastard. Slimy. I guess it's for the embossing or the glowing effect or something like that. Bump mapping. So yeah, it does all the effects that a Voodoo just isn't capable to handle anymore. So back in the day, I actually had a Radeon 9800 PCI card, I believe. Yeah, it was a PCI card, and I think I had that in my. Yeah, I think I had that in my in one of my systems at some point. Yeah, it's hazy which system it was in. I believe it was a PCI. Was it a PCI Express card? No, I think it was a PCI card, and it wasn't as good as I hoped it was. And I think back then I really made the choice to go NVIDIA, and I believe I got an NVIDIA, a 9800 NVIDIA, a passively cooled card, and that was PCI Express. So probably the 9800 Radeon was also PCI Express, probably, because when AGP was, yeah, AGP and PCI were contemporaries from each other, and I don't think I ever got a PCI only graphics card. No, I don't think. So, yeah. Ooh, I'm not sure. Oh, these are quality settings, so it actually, I'm not sure what it does, but it just renders something and then it compares it to a known render, and it'll check whether the pixels are or whether the colors are correct. So 9,336 3D marks in 3D Mark 2001. I'll stop the recording and I will come back with 3D Mark 2003 on this little system, and perhaps throw a little halo in on the side. Who knows? But I'm very curious what my wife wanted to ask me, so I'll just pop in over to her sewing room and see if she's sewn something of interest. No wonder her muslin didn't fit. You shouldn't wear it backwards. Yeah, that is pretty cool. So let's see how, where is it? Benchmarks. I believe the future mark. This probably was a recent when this system was out. I think this was 2003 or 2004 or something like that. Yeah. Oh, it does have a fan. But that's about the only spinning thing in this system. Well, no, this actually is not the fan. This probably is the DVD drive. Tip of the day. So, yeah, Intel Pentium M processor. So I guess this software is advanced enough to be able to recognize the hardware. So, shall we just run the default benchmark? Wings of Fury. This 2003 benchmark, this actually looks quite similar to the later Future Mark, 3D Mark benchmarks, like you have them today. Oh, this is a very nice sequence with warplanes, and I believe one of the planes is actually crashing and pilots and stuff. There's a lot of multi-layered stuff going on, you know, clouds and transparencies and stuff. So yeah, and a lot of bullets flying through the air. I believe, oh no, of course, I thought there's a rendering issue, but I think the noses of these planes were actually see-through. So that, or was that the case, or is this a rendering issue? I'm not sure. It could be a see-through, a glass, you know, a dome to be able to watch the enemy planes or something like that. Because this graphics card doesn't have a lot of graphics. I'll probably be able to pop up hardware info to give you an idea of the hardware that's in here. I think this is really pushing this graphics card. And I remember there's this bay scene that on my Pentium IV crawled, so it should crawl on on this system for sure. Yeah, you really see an advancement in the graphics. You know, there's a lot more things going on, you know, with the new DirectX. I think this is DirectX 9. You know, a lot of new capabilities were introduced, and sadly, for a long time, you were just out of luck when your graphics card was just too old, because 3D, DirectX would just not support newer hardware. And now it seems more of a feature thing, that certain features aren't available on older hardware, but there's like a basic set of features that will be supported on, you know, anemic graphics cards. So yeah. Oh, Trolls Lair. Oh, this is cool. Yeah, this is a lady that just decides to fight some trolls. Very nice lighting effects. And of course, this is all done. Oh, look at the hairs. There's a lot of hairs, strands of hairs being emulated. Now, there's some shades, and probably those are just projected polygons, you know, not real shades, not real, it's all faked. A lot of these graphics that look pretty real, these effects are all faked, you know, with environmental mapping baked into the textures and stuff. So, but yeah, who needs ray tracing, you know? Oh, and here these trolls are just gonna fight each other, which is good because they are distracted, and one of them hurls a little stool towards her, and she's just gonna knock him out, I guess. I don't think, oh, no, she's not knocking him out, but I don't think she killed all of them. I think this one is running away or something. Oh, and he knocks himself out. I remembered. So yeah, she's just like this murderous female, and she decides not to kill the other troll because he knocked himself out. So, but if yeah, Mother Nature. Yeah, 3D Mark was very much known for its amazing demos, amazing visuals that really pushed the hardware, and it's still a pretty decent standard, you know. I mean, it's not like real world performance, but if you look at, oh, this is struggling a bit, but if you look at a game would use similar techniques. I think there's these two benchmarks, Valley and oh gosh, the other one that's still used today. Perhaps it'll run on Windows XP, I'm not sure, but I'm curious to see how that will run. Now, it's actually quite amazing to see the level of detail, the level of grass that this machine is capable of rendering, because it really looks pretty cool. Oh, if you hear some growling sounds, that is my stomach. Not sure. Perhaps I might be hungry or something like that. Not sure. 7 to 9 frames per second, 7 to 8 frames per second. Yeah, it's not gaming material, but it does render. It does render the graphics. So this is a CPU test. It'll probably just calculate all the frames with the CPU. Oh, that's not bad. So a fixed resolution, and then it just the CPU just has to render all the frames, and it'll just measure the time it takes for the CPU to complete the sequence. It is really weird, these planes with see-through cones. I'm not sure if that actually is supposed to be that way. I don't remember planes. Well, they must have had a grid or something. I'm not sure. Were planes like that ever with one of these glass domes or something? It looks to be so how do you say that, so flimsy. I mean, if one of these domes should crack or whatever, you know, the whole aerodynamics of the plane would just be ruined. So I'm not sure. Probably is not the way to roll, or to fly, of course. So what's this? Okay, this is the CPU benchmark bit. Yeah, it's running at 12 to 7 frames per second at a lower resolution, of course. It's a similar scene that the same scene that we just saw. But it's actually quite funny to see how graphics like this actually advanced. There was a time when Voodoo graphics were perhaps a higher resolution, but they ended up being inferior to PlayStation 1 graphics, I think. And then NVIDIA TNT Radeon graphics were actually quite on par with PlayStation 2. And then, well, eventually PCs ended up winning, I guess. I mean, yeah, these days the modern consoles, they have, you know, integrated, but basically they have APUs. They have specialized APUs that just are Intel systems with Radeon graphics, I think. Yeah, they are using AMD graphics. So a very nice color blend thing. Quite like that. And you can actually see that my screen isn't completely clean. There's some dust on it. But yeah, very nice computer screen, very nice and bright. Behind it, if you look at the contrast and stuff, that's a Samsung ultra-wide screen. And I must say, when it comes to color saturation and just, you know, the overall way it looks, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's a really nice looking screen. I'm actually quite impressed. It's been quite some time since I last took it out. And pixel shader too. Very curious if it will run games like Sega Rally or something. I don't think. Yeah, I think I was planning on loading up Steam on this to see if I could have some newer games running, but probably Steam isn't supported anymore on WindowsXP. But it's possible to run Windows or Steam on Linux, the Windows distribution, through Wine. So I may find a way to actually have it run some more modern games. Yeah, but Steam, I'm not sure. Steam probably has not too many old games, perhaps good old games. That would be a nice site to grab some games from and see how they will run on this system. Yep, I'm actually quite impressed. So I got this laptop, not as a gaming laptop, but I wanted a multimedia capable laptop. It has a DVD drive. I took it with me on shifts. I often had DVDs or DivX movies on it, or played some music, the odd game. So yeah, but not necessarily a gaming laptop. This was just for PowerPoint presentations and, you know, working, typing out off reports and stuff. And sound test. Oh, not sure how you would. Oh, okay. Oh, it's probably checking the fidelity of the sound and the number of frames that are capable of being produced. I had not seen this before. I quite like the scene, the air and the planes and the. Oh, and this plane is probably gonna be shut down. Oh, not because it stopped. So, 2,497 3D marks. Which is pretty cool, and I don't think the online results browser will probably be offline, but yeah, not too shabby, I guess. Let's see, I do have some utilities. CPU-Z, so this only runs 32-bit applications, so I'll move in. So this actually shows the Pentium M processor, Bejeweled, and it's a socket 479 MPGA. Oh, that's interesting. So will this be a user replaceable CPU? If so, would it be possible to fit a faster one? Probably not. I think this is pretty much as fast as they went. 32 kilobytes of cache and 1 megabyte. Not too shabby. 1 core, 1 thread, of course. These days it's anemic, but back then it was pretty decent. Mainboard is a Compal CL50, probably one of these OEM systems that delivered that thing to Acer. So 2004. This laptop has a BIOS from 2004. So probably, you know, yeah. 3D Mark 2003 is actually quite, yeah, period correct. Memory, 2 gigabytes. This is looking nice, but yeah, the frequency is like 188 or something like that, not the highest. SPD is not there. The graphics, it will just not recognize it, bench, but the graphics can be recognized by the other utility, the CPU-Z. So it's a ATI Mobility Radeon. I'm not sure if we can look it up. It's probably going to launch a browser, which is not a good idea if you if you want to search the internet. So multiple graphic devices found. The Pro Turbo, which is not it. It is the one with 64 megabytes. I think this is the one. So 64 megabytes. Yeah, that's the one. So it's not the highest. Whoops. Is not. No, not sure what that was. And there's always this one start render test. So you can actually check out the frames and stuff. Never actually tried. This is the first time I tried, but yeah. So not the most amazing. Oh, hardware info that will be more complete. Not the most amazing system by today's standards, but you know, for a laptop back then, it was very nice. It wasn't as power hungry as so many others. So yeah, Intel Pentium M705, Bejeweled, the MPJ. I think this is not the ball grid array, so this actually is a socket, which is interesting. TDP is 24 watts. It does have a lot of the instruction sets, not TM2. Terminal monitor, oh, that's not working. Oh. Well, terminal monitor 1, but terminal monitor 2 is probably too new. So there's 2 drives in it, a 63 gigabyte parallel ATA hard drive, SSD, and a DVD drive. It's a writer. The Hynix memory, there's 2 modules in there. So 2.533 166 megahertz. So yeah, not the greatest, and probably I'm not sure if it has its own memory or if it borrowed its SD RAM. No, it's different. It's probably different RAM than the memory from the. Yeah, so not too bad. And of course, Halo. I have a Halo DVD constantly, permanently inserted because this is my Halo rig. If I'm not playing it on the original Xbox, I'm playing it on this one. Now you can't run Halo on a Windows 10 PC. You just can't. It just won't run. Microsoft possibly did release one of these Halo combo packages that allows you to run the classic game, but it might be enhanced or something. And you know, there's actually two machines that I can run Halo on. This is the PC, and I also have a G4 laptop, a MacBook, one of these pre-aluminum cases, G4 laptops, which also has a graphics card that's quite similar to this one. And I was running Halo on that as well. And actually this system, I do have a backup of a Tiger. I mean, this laptop basically is the perfect Hackintosh from back in the day. The hardware is very similar to one of the first Intel Macs, MacBooks, and Tiger 10.4.11 probably was the last I tried on it, and the graphics card was a bit tough to get going, but yeah, I got my first Hackintosh, how do you say that, marks on this this laptop. It was pretty cool, and it was actually quite capable of running PowerPC apps as well through Rosetta, and Rosetta wasn't running too shabby on this system. Actually, Halo for Mac would actually run like this on this system through Rosetta with 3D accelerated graphics. Yeah, I've just completed the calibration, and then I can follow. Oh, you have to look around, of course. I have to go to the calibration, and then the Covenant will just attack and stuff. So yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of graphical details. There's glow. Oops, there's glow. There's lighting effects. The resolution isn't the highest, but it actually runs at a decent frame rate. It's very playable. So yeah, that's my Halo gaming laptop. Okay, well, that's it. Mark signing off, and I'll be back with another video soon.